So I use various paint brushes, which I have here. And you know, just, I don't know, some people have a favorite paintbrush. I really don't and stuff. For me, whatever the store is selling at the moment, I buy and stuff. But, you know, so I don't have a particular favorite. And then I use various Liquitex. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
When you, excuse me, were talking about the pen and ink,
Yeah.
that is really old school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you have never gone over to like the Pitagraph pens or drafting pens?
I think I'm pretty old school and stuff.
Yeah.
Most of my heroes, like if you look at the books and the cartoonists, you know, pen and ink, there's nothing wrong with rapidograph. It's just I don't know why, but I don't know. I like the dipping and stuff, and I like the. There's a difference. Like nowadays, a lot of artists they do computer. So there's a program called Procreate that a lot of cartoonists do now because it's fast, and it's a nice line. But I think you know, with pen and ink, it's just a different line and stuff. You know. So but. There's no good reason why I use pen. I just
looking at your artwork there, when you've done, you know, multiple dots or cross hatching, so the pen never splits on you. Spills ink.
It used to.
It used to.
Not as much anymore. I think because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
But you know, after a while, you know, the pen nib, it does. You know, you do have to buy a new one. And stuff, right? After a while and stuff. I think the thing with me, I love doing. I used to love going to art stores. So there used to be University Art, Aaron Brothers, Flax, all of these wonderful art stores. And sometimes I would try something new just because the store had it and stuff. And sometimes I'd love it and sometimes I wouldn't. But I love going to an art store. And I kind of miss that nowadays because the only one I think that's still around is Michael's. You know, University Art is gone. You know, Flax is gone, and I'm kind of sad that those stores aren't there anymore. So, okay. So yeah. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this demonstration into two parts. I did a very quick drawing, and so I'm going to trace the drawing onto this watercolor paper with the graphite, and then I'm going to ink it and stuff. So you'll see me inking and stuff. So when I do the initial inking, that's with this pen, and then with and then with this and stuff. But yeah, here. So what I like is the cross hatching and the texture and stuff. So here. So this is blank paper. Here's the drawing. Okay, you see the drawing? Okay. There. So I just did that quick drawing. This stuff there is the directions on how to get here. So so don't ignore that. So this is just a quick drawing. I'm going to put it here on this paper. This is just Canson watercolor. It's a book and stuff. So, but usually after I ink, it takes about a day to dry because every once in when I started, I would try to paint immediately afterwards, and the ink would run. So now I wait a day for the ink to dry, and then I ink. And so this, you know, I did this a couple of days ago, so that after I finish inking, I'll start painting. And let's see, where is it? So see this? Can you see that? Okay. So I'm gonna, there. So I'm gonna paint that. The ink's dried. So I inked it first, then I'm gonna paint it and stuff. So in my handout, it shows step by step what I'm doing and stuff. So, okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do first is I'm going to sit down and stuff, but I'm going to tape this drawing. I'm going to take this drawing onto this watercolor paper. And where's the tape? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tape it there, and then I'm going to trace it with with this graphite paper. Some artists that I know, instead of tracing it, they just take a thin watercolor paper and they photocopy their drawing onto the paper instead, and because they want to keep the looseness of the line. When I trace, whatever looseness I have in my drawing is gone and stuff. Because when I'm tracing, I'm being exact. When I'm doing the rough drawing, I'm pretty loose and stuff. So I'm not a very loose artist. I'm very tight and stuff. So, but I think that's the nature of the pen and ink and stuff. So okay. So I'm doing that. Okay. I'm gonna trace. So, any questions so far or no?
What is the name of your carbon paper?
Oh, the carbon paper is Craft Smart graphite paper. You can get it at Michael's and stuff. Although, ask around. When I went to Michael's to get this, the first 3 salespeople didn't know what this was, but the 4th one did. So you kind of have to be persistent sometimes and stuff. So. Oh, what?
What I use doesn't seem to last.
Yeah. So this one, I don't know. It's one huge sheet, and I just cut it up and stuff. So, but yeah, it's actually mine kind of lasts and stuff. What do you use your graphite paper for?
Well, I'm tracing a flower. I do wildflower cards.
Okay.
So I'm just using an old book, and I just trace that onto a scrap on a card.
Okay. Yeah. When you do it, is it faint or is it dark? When you trace it on, is the line faint or is it dark?
Just a line, thin line.
Thin line? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's mine too. When I trace it, it's going to be thin. So.
Where's the envelope?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you want.
I want to take a picture of it.
Oh okay. He can pass that to you, and you can take a look afterwards and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace. Okay. So I work out most of the drawing on the rough paper, and, until I get it right. Then I trace it and stuff. So some artists, they're very loose and they can just sketch it right onto the paper. I can't do that and stuff. I think my mind is very tight and stuff. So I want things to be worked out in the drawing before I trace it and stuff. So.
Does the tracing paper leave any mess that you don't want to have?
Oh, this is only a demonstration.
But
Yeah.
does it leave any?
Usually not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, usually not. And stuff. So the idea for this painting or this drawing, some people ask me how I get the ideas for my drawing and stuff. This one is just, there's a story about the tortoise and the hare, right? And stuff. So I thought I'd have the tortoise and the hare, but instead of them being enemies, have them be friends and stuff. So, and this one, the hare is piggy banking the tortoise, and they're running together, right? So, and in this one, the tortoise is relaxing in the water while the hare is floating with the tortoise. So, yeah. So, yeah. This is what I'm showing is a fairly old technique. It's not a. I think you're right. It's not new and stuff. So. Until they had those graphic, programs on the computer and stuff, this is the way every cartoonist did it and stuff. And not just cartoonists, but children's book illustrators and stuff. So and the books I'm showing you show you some of the cartoonists and stuff, and I think it shows some of the originals and stuff too. So. Okay. So when I do my drawings, what I want is personality and character. So I always focus on that and stuff. So if you look in the back of your handout, you know, one of the things I focus on is, you know, if you want to show emotion, a lot of times the eyebrows and stuff, the eyes can tell all and stuff. So I focus a lot on eyes. So most of my characters, they're either annoyed or they're in some an odd situation, but these characters are happy and stuff, but I focus a lot on character. I'm not really a landscape artist and stuff. I rarely do fancy backgrounds. I focus mainly on the characters and stuff and how they interact with each other. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a lot of comic strip artists, because if you look at comic strips in a newspaper, they're kind of small. So you can't do anything fancy. So a lot of times cartoonists, they focus on the face and stuff. So like if you look at Charlie Brown and stuff, he has a big round head and his body is relatively small and stuff. So it's because in the comic strip, you have a newspaper and then you have a comic strip. That comic strip size isn't that great. So you don't have that much room to do much drawing. In the olden days, the older comic strips were huge. But over the years, the comic strip shrank and stuff. So by the time Charlie Brown came along, you didn't have as much room to do drawings. The old comic strips in the in the 40s and 50s and below, I think the comic strips were huge, and the cartoonists can do a lot of stuff. But you know, by the time Charlie Brown came along, you had to be more simple, you know, because you do a comic strip and you shrink it, a lot of the detail would get lost. So.
When would you erase the graphite from your actual finished black?
Oh, because I'm tracing and stuff, I did a lot of the sketching. I don't really erase and stuff.
But you're getting graphite on your
Oh, yeah.
final paper.
Yeah, but
So
see,
when do you-
once I ink it,
You won't see it,
The
so you
ink-
don't erase?
yeah, I don't really erase. I do all of the rough drawing. That's why I work it out on the rough drawing first. So by the time I trace it, most of it's gone and stuff. So, you know, if you know, so like this that I did, I didn't, you know, after I did the graphite, I didn't do any erasing. Yeah, so.
Is that the Coquille pen that you're using?
No, this is just pencil and stuff.
Pencil?
I'll do the Coquille pen once I start doing the inks. Yeah, so when I'm doing the Coquille pen, I'm thinking mostly texture, and I'm thinking cross hatching. So yeah, so see, okay. So when I sketch, you know, when I trace it, it's no big deal. It's just a tracing and stuff.
So you had one extra page under that, right?
Oh,
This tracing is,
yeah. So, does that see that?
oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm pointing it at you guys, but I should be pointing it at the camera. Okay. So, and then this is the original drawing that I traced. See, there's the drawing. So see, the rabbit is giving a piggy bank ride to the turtle, who are now friends. And so I'm doing a twist on the tortoise and the hare and stuff. So, and so see, so the reason why I don't have to erase is I did all the work on this rough drawing and stuff. So
But that means you're really accurate too, when you ink over that line.
yeah,
You don't go off the line,
Yeah.
or you'd see it.
yeah, I'm pretty tight. As an artist, I'm pretty, that's why
Yeah.
I do erase, but usually when I erase, I'm in trouble. So,
Yeah.
you know, so, but, so this is what I'm gonna do. Right, I'm gonna do, first thing I do an outline on this pen nib. So see this pen nib? There's two pen nibs. This is a very thin pen nib. This one here, and this one is, it's still thin, but it's not as thin. And so what I do is I just dip this into the, and I start tracing the outline. And, you know, as I'm tracing, all of my work, all of my thinking goes into the drawing. So when I'm inking and when I'm doing other things, you know, I can put on music. You know, it's more, you know, whatever relaxing. You know, sometimes I even have the TV as a background, but I'm inking and stuff. So. Okay. Okay. Do any of you have any favorite comic strips or comics or anything or?
Snoopy.
Snoopy,
Yeah,
yeah.
Calvin and Hobbes.
The Calvin and Hobbes.
Family Circus.
Family Circus.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you like Snoopy and Charlie Brown, in Santa Rosa, there's a Charles Schulz
I was just
Museum.
gonna ask you if you've been to it.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I have it, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's worth it to go up there.
Yeah, so you'll see the originals. And if you look at the original Charles Schulz comic strip, it's bigger. It's the comic strip is big. They send it to the newspaper and it shrinks and stuff. Because you know what, you know, I do this. I should probably do this bigger and stuff because because when you do detailed work, it's not good for your eyes and stuff, you know. And I know the reason I'm wearing glasses is because I do a lot of cross hatching over the years and stuff. So,
You probably need good lighting too, right?
yeah.
That work, yeah.
Yeah, but in San Francisco, in Fisherman's Wharf, there's also a cartoon art museum. It's you know where Ghirardelli is in San Francisco? Right near Ghirardelli, if you just go walk down towards the ocean, I forgot what street it's on. There's a wonderful cartoon art museum, but it's when they say cartoon, comic strips, comic books, you know, the whole vast, you know. Sometimes they have cells of like animated movies and stuff, so it's pretty cool and stuff. So
The San Jose Beethoven Society, with their office, whatever, museum in the San Jose Library had a show once of Schultz's work.
oh yeah.
And I was so surprised to see that when he puts in those crazy notes that Schroeder is playing on his piano,
Yeah.
they are actually taken from Beethoven manuscripts.
Yeah. Well, Charles.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Well, he was a bit of a perfectionist and stuff. So yeah. But I love. Yeah, he was the one who inspired me and stuff. But a lot of great. You know, once you look at comic strips, there was just a ton. I think the problem with comic strips now is that as newspapers began to decline, a lot of cartoon. It used to be if you could make a great popular character, you could become a multimillionaire and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays, since a lot of the comic strip is tied to the newspaper, the less people are reading newspapers now. So a lot of cartoonists are struggling. They don't, you know, they're good cartoonists, but they just don't have the. It's harder to make money off the internet and stuff, and that's one of the struggles right now with cartoonists is, you know, I don't know if many cartoonists can be like Bill Watterson or Charles Schulz, where they just become huge and stuff. So, yeah, that's a problem. I don't know how they solve that and stuff. For me, I do cartoons, but I worked in a library to pay the rent and stuff. So I'm a cartoonist, but I'm not at their level. But that's why I know that the library has so much comic stuff, because I work there and stuff. So yeah, right now the big thing is manga. You know, it's that Japanese graphic novel. Those are good too and stuff. But it's weird because instead of reading forward to backward, you read from the last page to the front and stuff. So that's a little bit of an adjustment. But those manga is wonderful and stuff. It's just some of the stories are a little bit, you know, like zombies and stuff. So a little bit horrific. But yeah. So I'm just outlining right now.
Do editorial cartoonists make much money?
Not anymore. You
Because
know.
that's two-sided. That is thinking of the idea and
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the issues that editorial cartoonists are facing, is that right now, I think there's only around, there used to be around, in 1900, there was 2,000 editorial cartoonists because there was a ton of newspapers.
Yeah.
And then in the 50s, there was like 300. Now, there's only around 20 who work. I mean, there's a lot of editorial cartoonists, but there's only 20 left that are working in a newspaper, you know, where they have an office and stuff. So, yeah, I came too late. So,
Because all the newspapers are controlled by a few groups.
yeah.
So they use the same one everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, you know, with editorial cartooning, I go to these conventions, and when I go to the conventions, there's a lot of great cartoonists, Pulitzer Prize winners, but all they're talking about is who's going to lose their job next and stuff. So it's kind of tough. But they're trying to figure out ways of earning a living. They're very important. In other countries, editorial cartoonists are going to jail and stuff, or getting harassed, or, you know, some of them get killed because they speak out against a dictator, or against you know, a religious extremist or whatever. In this country, you know, editorial cartoonists worry about losing their jobs, but in other countries they worry about their life and stuff. So it's, you know, so, but I think they're important. It's just they have to, you know, it's good to be alive, I guess. So I do the initial inks. Okay, so yeah, so you see, you don't see the lines, right? I don't have to erase it. So when I trace it, the line isn't that dark. So that's why I don't need to erase it and stuff. So I do this, and now I'm going to use this pen, and I'm going to do cross hatching and stuff. So when I do cross hatching, if you look in the back of over here, one of the things I try to do is okay, right now this looks flat, right? Yeah, sorry.
It's all right.
Okay, so this looks flat, but when I do the cross hatching, I'm trying to put volume to make it. So one of the things here, see, if you look at this picture of the cat, it's flat, but there's something cartoonists call spot blacks, where they put areas of black to pop out the picture. So when I'm cross hatching, I'm thinking of spot blacks and stuff. So you know, so as I'm cross hatching, you know, I'm thinking areas of spot blacks.
But you don't do that all the time.
When I do my inking, oh yeah, I do that all the time.
Oh, spot.
Yeah. So that's just I learned that actually from the comic books and stuff. There was a famous comic book artist named Jack Kirby. He does spot blacks, but also I think most cartoonists do that. Bill Watterson, he did a comic strip called Calvin and Hobbes. If you look at his stuff, there's a lot of spot blacks and stuff. His stuff is not flat. His stuff pops out a lot and stuff, because the black, you know, if you put a black behind the figure, it pops out the figure and stuff. So I don't know if my picture of the cat shows it well, but it pops it out and stuff. So yeah, so when I'm cross hatching, I learned a lot of if you want to learn about cross hatching, that crazy cat over there, or look at the old children's books. If you have Charlotte's Web, Garth Williams, the guy who did Wilbur the pig and all those guys, or if you look at Alice in Wonderland, there's an artist named John Tenniel. He's a wonderful crosshatch artist. Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass and stuff. Those old illustrators and stuff. Those guys, those are wonderful and stuff. I'm a big fan of those type of thing. I'm just old-fashioned and stuff. When other artists talk about doing the cartoons in the computers, that goes way over my head and stuff. But it's good and stuff. A lot of those artists, they start doing the computers because they get their first baby, and they have to quickly do the cartoon so they have time to sleep and stuff, right? So you know, okay. So if you look here, I'm going to do this hat, but I want it to pop out a little bit. So I'm going to so here. So I'm cross hatching here, but I want to see this ear here. So I'm gonna darken it a little bit so that the ear pops out a little bit and stuff. I don't know if that's making sense, but so as I darken it a little bit, the ear pops out, right? So you know, it's just to add volume and stuff. I like the texture. I don't like. I'm the opposite of Charlie Brown in a way. I don't like it being too flat and stuff. He doesn't really do much. He does spot blacks, but he doesn't do cross hatching and stuff. So, you know, I think nowadays, if you want to see cross hatching, you're more likely to see it in those old children's book illustrations and stuff. Maurice Sendak. Who else and stuff?
Do you know the work of Doug Griswold that used to be with the San Jose Mercury News, the artist? Wasn't editorial art, but he would do huge.
Oh, I think I know.
drawings,
Yeah. In the
cross-hatching.
90s and the 80s, right? Huge stuff that filled half the page. Yeah, I never met him.
Gorgeous, really.
Yeah. His stuff is cool and stuff. Yeah. That was a long time ago. I remember it though. But yeah, I loved his work, and he does cross hatching and stuff.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. And this is, I think, before the computer, so I think he actually had the. Yeah. So when I'm doing the cross hatching, I don't know if this is showing it, but I don't know if my line is too. You see what I'm doing? Okay. So I see this here. This is the spot black, where this pops out the ear. I'm doing a little shading. So this little black here pops out the hat, the cap. I don't know what you call this. The little thing in the hat. So that's what I'm basically thinking and stuff, is making this flat drawing not so flat. And so. Okay. Am I explaining things well, or
Yeah,
you're
very
just not?
well.
Okay.
You're getting thick and thin out of those pen nibs too, aren't you?
A little bit and stuff,
Yeah.
but later, once this is dry, when I finish this and stuff, I'm gonna take brush,
Oh, yeah.
and then I'm gonna go over the outlines in brush and stuff. If you look at Bill Watterson or most of those artists and stuff, they did brush. And when I said I'm tight, those artists, Bill Watterson, his line is very loose. I cry when I look at his piece. He's a lot looser than I am and stuff, and I always think, wow. Like, do you know Calvin and Hobbes? It's a comic.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and stuff. Who else is I can't think of another one right. I know there are other artists who are loose and stuff, but when I do the inks, every once in a while I dip it in water and then I wipe it, because after a while the ink doesn't flow as well from the pen nib and stuff. So yeah. So and then I put like little textures for hair and stuff. This looks dark right now, but when I paint it, the paint kind of fades the ink a bit and stuff, and then I do the outlines again in brush. So yeah, and I think I'm a little bit anal in a way, because I enjoy the textures and stuff. I think some people would get bored by it and stuff, but I seem to like it and stuff. So it fits my personality and stuff. Yeah. So, but my technique isn't that original. It's I basically adopted it from those old type cartoons. I kind of have I have a big appreciation for those old cartoonists. Another one is, do you know Narnia, the C.S. Lewis books? So if you look at those Narnia books, look at the person who illustrated it. is this British illustrator named Pauline Baines and stuff. Yeah, when you look at her work, you just think, wow. Or at least that's what I do. I look at her work. It's the same principle though. The spot blacks, the cross hatching, yeah, it's okay.
What kind of commissions do you get?
Me, not as much anymore and stuff every once in a while because I'm caregiving right now for my dad and my mother-in-law, so I don't do as much stuff as I used to. I do cartoons that are relatively quick and stuff, but they're mostly on issues on the Philippines, more political issues, because in the Philippines we had in 2016 we had a president who instituted extrajudicial killings and stuff, where they would he allowed the police to kill people without them going on trial. And so I was doing a lot of cartoons on that because even though I live here, I have relatives in the Philippines, and I was scared of the direction he was going to and stuff. So you know, but for these. I try to separate the political stuff from the non-political stuff. So my fine arts and my, you know, if I think about it all the time, I'll just be depressed. So my fine art stuff, I try to make light, and you know, I do my political cartoons, and then I put it away so I don't have to be so depressed and stuff. So, but the fine art stuff is kind of different than usually you think of the funny stuff would be the cartoons, but my political cartoons are pretty serious, but I don't want to be that way all the time and stuff, you know. I want to smile once in a while and stuff, you know. And so I do these kind of illustrations and more lighthearted cartoons and stuff, just as a good break and stuff. So, but in terms of commissions, just when I have time, but I don't have as much time anymore because I'm busy with. You know, I love my dad, but he's a little cranky sometimes, so I have to, you know. But yeah, he you know, my mom passed away a couple of years ago, and I regretted not having enough time for my mom, and so I'm making sure I'm not going to make the same mistake with my dad. So I'm you know, and my mother-in-law, my father-in-law passed away last year, and so I spend half of my time with my mother-in-law and half of my time with my dad. So yeah, so I don't focus. I can't join art shows. Like I met him in an art show and stuff, Hadi and stuff, and but I don't have as much time anymore to do that those type of stuff. But one of these days, you know, in the future, I want both my dad and my mother-in-law to live very long. So, but at some point in the future, I'll do artwork again and commissions and stuff. So, you know, but yeah. But I think that's just normal. Most of my friends my age, we were going through the same stuff. You know, we talk about our parents and yeah, you know, 20 years ago they were talking about their first babies, and then 20 years before that, what are we going to do after college? I think it's just life and stuff. So yeah. So with this, I'm doing hair for the rabbit. I just like that look and stuff. So.
Is there such a thing as doing too much cross-hatching? I mean, you know,
Oh,
do it and we're not to do it.
I think it's individual to each artist. I probably do too much cross hatching, but I know other artists do too. I think it's just personal and stuff. One of my favorite artists in the list, Robert Crumb. He's kind of an underground cartoonist. He does a ton of cross hatching and stuff. But and I love his work and stuff. But his work is pretty heavy. It's not very loose and stuff. But I'm a big fan of his cross. I don't always recommend it because he was an underground cartoonist. Some of his stuff was a little bit vulgar and stuff. But if you can ignore the vulgarness and just focus on the inking, it's great stuff. So, you know, yeah. So, but yeah, I do it just because I enjoy cross hatching. I enjoy the you know. And you know, it's a look that I've always loved and stuff. But at some point, you know, if my eyes get worse, I'll probably give up the cross hatching and do more brush strokes and stuff. But for now, I can still see halfway decently. So, yeah. When I mentioned Charlotte's Web and you know those books?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Have you remember the illustrations and stuff?
Completely.
Yeah, okay.
Some were frightening, I remember from my childhood.
Yeah.
So I figured they were just really good illustrations of
Yeah.
fairy tales, often are frightening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Charlotte was, or Wilbur was about to get killed,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a good book, but it was, I read, my third grade teacher read that to me, to my class, and that book just always stuck with me. But it's a sad book and stuff because
Yeah.
Charlotte dies and stuff, so. And one of the bad things about this technique is that when you're trying to do a demo on it, you know, it's a pretty tedious technique and stuff. So it's hard to make it sound exciting and stuff. But this is see, so see the spot blacks, textures, kind of shading to make it, instead of making it flat, making it seem round and stuff. So I think I'm going to finish this for now and stuff and start painting. Because I don't know how much time do I have right now.
20 or 25 minutes.
Okay, so let me start the painting and stuff. So first thing I do, I close the ink, okay? Because there have been many a time I screwed up a painting because I didn't close this stupid bottle and stuff, and I would accidentally spill it. So close the bottle and stuff. And this is waterproof, so you can't, you can't. Oh, did I tell you super black India ink? Super black Indian ink. And you don't want this to jab on you, so I take these off and I put them back here. And here, I'll put
So,
this.
Angelo, these two characters, the tortoise and the hare,
Yeah.
look like you use them often in your illustrations.
Just for these two. I was trying to think, well, what can I do that, you know, I had this dream of being a children's book illustrator. There's an organization called the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, and I've been trying to do it for years, but I'm a terrible writer and stuff. I like to draw, but every attempt I've had to write, I want to do the writing as quick as I can so I can get to the drawing.
Well, use AI.
Oh,
Let AI do the writing for you.
no, okay, yeah, but yeah, you know, I've tried to do. I have a lot of ideas for, like, you know, children's stories or like a graphic novel or something, but yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that you could team up with.
Yeah. Well, you know, my hope is that, you know, to get an agent and then they can team me up. Because I think one of my drawbacks as an artist is, I think if you want to be a professional artist that gets paid, you got to know how to market yourself. And I'm terrible at marketing myself and stuff. So, but yeah, maybe I'll make a story out of it and stuff. I don't know and stuff. I just did these because I was trying to think, what am I going to do for a demo and stuff. So I thought and stuff. But okay, so this is this. So this is going to be where I do the painting and stuff. And for the painting part, I want to do. I'm going to. This is a traditional traditional children's book illustration techniques. So Arthur Rackham, he was in the early 1900s. He did Peter Pan in Kensington Park. What else did he do? The Wind in the Willows. Do you know that story? Okay. So Maurice Sendak. Who else? One of my favorite current illustrators is a guy named William Joyce. He did Dinosaur Bob and what else? Okay, Garth Williams, Pauline Baines. Yeah. So for this one of the first things they did. So if you look in the I do is put a wash of yellow, titanium white, and raw sienna. And the reason I do that is to I don't, instead of doing painting just straight on, I put this wash. Actually, instead of saying it, I'll show it to you. So, okay, this is raw sienna. The reason I do this is because the old children's book illustrators did it. And I figure if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll put it. Oh, okay. So, raw sienna, Liquitex basic acrylics and stuff. And I think I got it from either Michaels or Universal Art and stuff. So, okay. This is yellow, cadmium yellow and stuff. So, I'm just looking here. So I mix it. So here's the raw sienna, the yellow, and then here, titanium white. Okay.
You put equal amounts?
Kinda. You know. So what I want is a sort of if you notice those older children's book illustrations, they're not white. Paper, you know, it's this kind of yellowish thing. I like that look and stuff. And it said, you know, I think when you're an artist and especially when you're a beginning artist, you fall in love with certain artists, and then you start copying them for a while. And then after a while, you take what you like out of them, but you make it your own and stuff, right? And that's what I did and stuff. So I guess I'm sort of a copycat in a way, but I have a lot of influences. So, okay.
When I was looking at your work over there,
Uh-huh.
I thought that the paper looked very old, and then I saw you'd signed 2024, and I thought, how could that be?
Yeah.
You know, and just,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
so
fooled
it's
you.
obviously successful. So.
Yeah, yeah. That's this technique and stuff. I think those old illustrators and stuff, they wanted that look and stuff. Because I think a lot of them illustrated like King Arthur or those old stories and stuff, and so they wanted a look that matched the old, you know, Grimm's fairy tales and stuff. So.
Did they ever use white then to highlight?
You know, sometimes they take white gouache and stuff, but I'll have to look and stuff. I'm guessing some of them did and stuff, but I just like it. I just like that look and stuff. And if you go to a library and if you get a book on an illustrator, not always, but a lot of times, at some point in the book, they'll just tell you this is how the artist did the stuff. And so that's how I learned how to do this. There was a book on Arthur Rackham, and there was a page that just said, oh, Arthur Rackham does it this way. So what I do is so if you look here, I'm painting I'm just doing over the whole thing. So that it's not white, it's going to be this particular shade and stuff. Okay.
So it doesn't affect the ink.
No, because I waited a day for it to dry. If I do it on this, it's going to run. So, so this is if you're in a rush to do something, this is the worst thing to do. So pick something else and stuff. But if you have the time and stuff, you can do this technique.
So is there a reason why you chose those particular colors?
Because those illustrators did those colors. I like that look and stuff. So I do that and stuff, and yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's kind of, I like that look and stuff. So it looks this color now and stuff, but once I add color and stuff, it's weird that this yellow doesn't seems less noticeable and stuff. So if you look at my my paintings in that table and stuff, it'll be you'll notice that none of my stuff have white and stuff. And so
Can I hold up a couple?
oh yeah, if you want, you can even pass it around. I don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So
do you
okay.
not mind if they're touched?
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah. Those are not going to be in the Smithsonian, so don't worry.
You just said you didn't use white. Oh, you know what? Even these little sailboats,
They're not
They're not white.
Yeah.
they're the antique.
Yeah. So okay, so I did this wash, right? Now that I do this wash, the next thing I do is I take burnt umber and what else? Oh yeah, I take burnt umber and I mix it with blue, with ultramarine blue. This is something I learned in the class, is that the Impressionists, they never used black straight from the tube. What they would do instead was they would mix burnt umber and ultramarine blue. Why? I don't know. But I mean, if it's good enough for the Impressionists, it's good enough for me and stuff. So they're far better colorists than I am. But since they did that, I said, what the heck, I'll do it too.
Basically, no artist uses directly black.
But I learned that from the Impressionists especially, because if there's one group of artists that are good with color, it's them, right? So, yeah. And I'm humble enough to admit I'm nowhere near as good as. So the reason I'm doing this, if you look in the next step, mix burnt umber and ultramarine blue and work on the shadows and contrast. So now what I'm going to do is with this mixture is I'm going to my cross hatching. If you look at my cross hatching, I do have the shading and stuff, but I'll reinforce it with this mixture of burnt umber and ultramarine blue. So, and I'm going to use. Somebody told me that I'm not using this brush right and stuff, but I'm going to use it anyway and stuff. So I'm just going to do this. And what I'm going to do, let me take this out of the way, is I'm just going to work on the shadows and stuff. So and I'm not as worried about the so the cross hatching has shadows, but this burnt umber ultramarine blue mixture reinforces it. So and I'll boost the like the spots where there's spot blacks. I'll reinforce the contrast. The reason you have spot blacks also is contrast. So I'll do that and stuff. So yeah. So here's the. So what the rabbit's doing or the hare's doing. I don't know if you know what boba tea is and stuff. It's like this Asian type of drink, with the pearls and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I was younger and stuff, me and my nieces would do this thing where we would take the boba and we would spit and see who would spit the farthest and stuff. So so that's what this rabbit's doing and stuff. He's spitting on the annoyed blue jay. I've never done a blue jay before, so this is my chance to do a blue jay and stuff. So
I love that tea with those, but I never thought of shooting the thing.
yeah.
I don't want to see
Next
you
time
do
I
that.
go by.
Better not.
Yeah.
At the back of somebody's neck.
So that's what I'm doing and stuff. So, but that's one of the things. So if once I get this done, then I'll start. That's when I start doing the color over and stuff. And then after I do the color over, I finish. I'm telling you this now, so just in case I don't finish in 20 minutes, you'll know the steps. So after this, I'll do the color, and then after I do the color, I'll wait for it to dry, and then I'll take the take a brush from here. I don't use the same brush for inking that I use for painting because ink is acidic. So because ink is acidic, the brush that I use to ink will wear out more than the brush I use for my paintings and stuff. So when I do my inking, I take a cheap brush. I don't take an expensive brush because I don't want my expensive brushes I want them to last if I'm going to spend that much money on them and stuff. And so Michaels, they have this thing where you get these cheap brushes, and so for my inking, I get those cheap brushes from Michaels and stuff. The expensive brushes, I save for my paints.
How much do you spend on?
It's like a pack of 7 for $10 and stuff. It's pretty cheap, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
about the expensive ones?
Oh,
What do you go up to?
I'm a cheap person, but $30, $40. But this is probably not ethical. But what I do is around Christmas time, I say, gosh, it'd be great if I had some brushes for Christmas and stuff. And you try to save to the relative that has the most money. So that's sort of my.
If you want to buy something useful.
That's the thing about online. There are what are some online places? In Berkeley, there's a store. What's that store? Blick. Yeah, Blick. You can go to Blick, but I don't know what their cost is and stuff. Oh, I almost forgot. This paint. This is not. This is a block.
Yeah.
This is not. I love painting in blocks, but they're expensive, like $60 for a block. One of the things I hate is when you do watercolors and it buckles. So when you do a block, it doesn't buckle. And I'm doing cold press. This is Arches watercolor cold press. It's 140, but because it's 140 pounds, normally it would buckle, but because this is in a block, it's not buckling. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a block and stuff, but it's
B-L-O-U-C-K?
yeah, block.
They usually call it board, right?
Yeah.
They call it board.
Take a look and stuff. It's a block.
So
All 4 sides are, have.
Oh no, actually,
stick on
I
them.
have it here. It broke
Yeah.
off, but if you want to see what the cover's like and stuff, that's the. So yeah,
so that price you said is only for one?
yeah, just or for one block and stuff. I love the block. It's just it's like if you want to do watercolor paper that doesn't buckle, 300 pound, I think 300 pound or so. I like cold press. I don't like rough because you can't ink in rough, but hot press is good and stuff too if you like detail and stuff. So it's been a while though since I've done hot press and stuff. So yeah. So see, I don't know if you see. So see what I'm doing when I'm doing the shading. You see the shadows in it, right? Okay. Yeah.
You also want to see this?
That's just a block. So yeah, so if you want to get block, you can either buy it or find an expensive, or find a rich relative around Christmas, where you can just say,
This is what I want. What? You want what?
yeah, you want a block. So yeah. See, that's one of the techniques that you learn as a starving artist. So yeah. So a lot of what I'm thinking is the same thing. Just thinking in terms of making this look more 3D. So unlike some artists, my stuff is very methodical. Some artists are more loose and stuff, but my stuff is very tight and methodical and stuff. So if you like something that's more loose, this is not the way to go. But if you like something that's a little bit more tight, that you might consider this and stuff. It has its advantages and disadvantages. If you don't have much time, this is a terrible technique to use and stuff. But if you have the time and stuff, it has some wonderful, especially if you like that children's book illustration look.
Well, maybe your technique is detailed, like you said, but the flow of your drawing, the curves, it has so much motion in it. That,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's sort of counter. The
Yeah.
technique is, yeah, I use this all the time. You want to see it, Suzanne? It's very, it really moves all your drawings.
Oh, no, thanks. Yeah, a lot of those illustrators, if you look at their stuff, there's a lot of movement and stuff. But also, when I was in college, there was a muralist that I loved named Thomas R. Benton. He was a famous muralist, and if you look at his stuff, there's that flow and stuff. So yeah, okay. So I'm painting this now. Yeah, I'd never done a blue jay. The blue jay has nothing to do with the story. I just the only reason I did that was because I'd never done a blue jay before, and it's a beautiful bird, right? But I don't think there are any blue jays in California. So I'm not sure, but I think it's an East Coast bird.
Are you using a liner brush, like a sign painter would use?
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
it's
long.
a liner
A
brush.
liner, yeah.
yeah. Somebody told me that I'm using this the wrong way, but nobody. Yeah, I never really learned what's the right brush for what. I just like the feel of it.
As long as it works for you, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why, you don't
Well,
have to follow all the rules.
Yeah, as long as the artist police doesn't catch me, I think I'm okay.
Because every artist thinks they are the one who do the right way.
Yeah. But I think sometimes learning the wrong way, if it works for you, it doesn't matter
No.
and stuff. So okay. So I don't, if you're seeing this. Okay. Yeah.
Just make it look so easy.
I know.
Oh.
You certainly do.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to finish the the shading part, but I'll lay some color so you can see how I lay color. When I do the, I don't go straight from the tube. You see how I have this?
The paints you're using are acrylic, not oil, right?
Acrylic, yes. Yeah. I'm too cheap for oil and stuff, The oil is expensive and stuff, right? So, yeah, so I take this. It's green. I'm going to paint the turtle. But I'm not going to go straight green. I don't like how bright it is, so I'm going to mix it. I'm going to dull it by mixing it with this is some of that stuff I pre-mixed. I'm going to mix it with that. And stuff. So hopefully it'll be a little dull a little bit. I can even do this. I can even take a little bit of this darker color. So what I'm trying to do is, okay. Is that working?
Close to the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, so what I'm doing is almost like, like in a coloring book, you're painting between the lines. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm dulling the color a little bit so it doesn't pop out too much. Okay. So I'm gonna, I don't know if you see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So. See, I think when I dull the color a little bit, what I'm thinking is unless I want the eye to go to a certain place, I want it dulled a little bit. I don't want it to pop out too much. So yeah, so you see I didn't erase. It doesn't matter, you know, because once you do the inks and once you do the colors and stuff, you don't see any of the markings and stuff, right? So so I'm doing this first layer, but I'm gonna do a couple layers and stuff, but yeah. See, I'm not being, you know, I'm tight, I'm going between the lines. Yeah, maybe I will make a story out of this. I'll have to think of something, you know, but, yeah. So yeah, see, most, it's all coloring between the lines and stuff. So this is just, so this is the first layer, but I'm gonna do I'll probably do 2 or 3 layers and stuff. And when you do the layers and stuff, gradually, you know, how dark the ink lines were before, it won't be as dark and stuff as I keep doing it and stuff, but.
Why don't you just mix a brighter or whatever color for the first time? Why are you using layers?
You just, yeah, I'm not really sure. I think there's probably a better way, but I go slow and methodical. I like it to be, I like it overall cohesiveness in the thing. So like if it, I don't really have an answer, but that's why I do that. I don't know if that's a good way of doing it, but that's the way I've always done it and stuff, so.
Well, you get to assess what you have better, you know, and decide if you want another layer or if you don't.
I tend to like it, if you look at my originals and stuff, it doesn't look washed and stuff, you know. I think, I don't know, old habits die hard. You just paint that way, you just,
So you let it dry before you do another layer, is that it?
yeah, so when I'm doing this, then I'll do, but see, if you notice, so see how that shadow remains, right, and stuff. So if I was, yeah, I don't think I'll do the rabbit, but if I was to do the yellow for the turtle, this shadow would remain. So if you look here, all of that shadow, so I do layer after layer after layer.
So when you're done with this one, perhaps you can put it on your Instagram or web.
Oh, yeah,
and then you can
Yeah.
see it.
Am I getting near done, or is it time? Okay, yeah.
So if anybody wants to chat with him while he's finishing, you're welcome to do that. We'd like to thank you for coming.
Oh, sure.
And if you have a notion if you'd like to teach a class here, we can get you in touch with a person that handles that portion.
Oh, okay.
I
It may
can
take a
send you
while.
an email.
Yeah, it may take a while because I'm caregiving and stuff.
Right.
You know.
Just so you know, it's available.